Hello folks, this is Margie Roy from 3dcuts.com, and today I'm going to do the video tutorial for my happy birthday billiard pool balls pop-up birthday card. Happy birthday, sure are racking them up. This is a great card for those of us that are getting on in years. I just made it for my husband for his 71st birthday. You could also change the sentiment to happy birthday, keep racking them up, if it was somebody who was younger. I love the pop-up billiard balls. They just add so much to this card. It is designed to fit in a 6x9 envelope, a standard booklet envelope. However, there is this envelope file included if you want to cut your own. Anyhow, let's get started on making this fun card. I have already cut all of the pieces on my silhouette. Before you get started, you should go to the address shown here on the screen. This is my online tutorial that will give you all kinds of additional information. Links to the paper I use, sizing of the different pieces. On some machines with some software, the sizing does not hold, so you need to verify that you have the right sizing. This is designed to fit on 8.5 by 11 paper, and I have used colored paper from Michaels. One of the neat things about this design is that I got to use a lot of scraps that I had saved from other projects. Each of these came from a scrap. So let's get started putting them together. I'm going to start by putting the billiard balls together first. There are 15 of them, and it just requires gluing the colors onto the white background. I am using art glitter glue. It has no glitter in it. It is my glue of choice when I am using a wet glue. I like it because it dries fast and clear. Each of these will get glued on. I am going to continue doing this. I'm going to put it into high speed so you don't have to sit and watch me glue each one of these on. When I'm done, we'll get back for the next step. After you've done the 8 full balls, you do the 7 partials. These are the stripes. You line up the edge of the stripe with the edge of the ball. It should fit without any white showing on these edges right here. Again, I'm going to put this onto high speed and finish all of these quickly. There we go. When you're done, you should have 15 pool balls. There are 7 stripes and 8 solids. Okay, I chose to cut the numbers and the sentiments out of vinyl. And I'm going to put these numbers onto the balls from vinyl. I used matte Oracle 631 vinyl, and I'm using contact paper as my transfer. I don't do a lot of vinyl work, so I don't have a lot of vinyl supplies, but this seemed to be a good solution working from what I had in my stash. Now, I looked at my husband's set of pool balls to figure out which color went with which ball. And the number 1 ball is yellow. I will put that in there carefully, burnish it into place, and peel it off. Very realistic looking. The number 2 ball is blue. You can look at my photographs to see the color that I chose. You know, I'm not even sure if all pool balls are the same color. I kind of think they must be, but check yours to see. It doesn't matter what orientation you put the number, you just want it centered in this hole. It looks better if they are random than if they are all the same. And again, we're going to switch to high speed and I'll finish all of the balls. There we go, folks. We now have a complete set of billiard balls. Don't they look realistic? We can put those to the side. Next, I'm going to make my pool sticks. They start with 2 black bases, 2 wood tone fronts, 2 brown handles, and some tiny white tips. I will start by putting glue on the back of the light wood piece. It gets positioned about 3/16 of an inch back from the tip of the skinny end of the black piece. It does not go all the way to the end, like so. I will then put glue on the back of the dark brown wood piece. It goes on the other end of the black stick, leaving about 1/4 of an inch round showing at the far end. Line it up, put it on, and then match up your sides. There we go. Now, there's going to be a tiny white piece. I'm going to use tweezers to place this one. Just a dab of glue. And this goes over the seam of the light wood and the black, leaving just a black tip showing at the end of the stick. That's the part you would chalk. There we go. There's pool stick. I have 2 of them now made. Next, I'm going to start building the 3-dimensional piece that goes inside my card. On my original card, I used a darker green, which I didn't particularly like, but this matches the felt on our pool table. I like this green much more. And we're going to make this support piece that holds all of the pop-up balls. This has a whole bunch of scored lines, dotted scores, and you do the first big one folding back. The second one folds back. Then we start the stairs. The third one folds up, back, up, back, up, back, up, back, and then the last one goes back again. So we've got these stairs that are going to hold our billiard balls in place for the pop-up. Placement of billiard balls matters. It should start with the 1, and then you should have randomly a stripe and a solid going back. The 8 ball needs to be in the center. Alternate a stripe and a solid here. I'm playing around with colors, making sure that I don't have like colors together. The next row, we again alternate the stripe and the solid. And on the back row, we want to have a solid in one corner, a stripe in the other corner, and then you mix them up in between. Within that, it doesn't really matter. Now, I am going to switch this blue and this purple, and this is not for billiards. This is for my own wanting to spread the colors out. I'm going to switch this 5 with, I think, no, not the 3. 5 with the 2, like that. Okay, so I've spread my colors out. I'm now going to start arranging these on the staircase. The one goes on the front, and you'll see there's a curve there. It gets glued right like that. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to start with the back. So these are going to glue on, and you'll see that it is just the bottom 3/8 of an inch that gets glued. The reason I like art glitter glue is that it dries quickly. I line up with the edge of the green base. I hold it for the count of 4, and then I go to the other end. Again, the glue is only on the bottom 3/8 of an inch. Make sure I line that up, glue it into place. Get the 9 ball. I'm arranging them with the numbers random, because when you set up a pool rack, that's how it goes. The next one will just touch the first billiard ball, not overlap, just touch. Same on the other side. And the 14 will just fit here in the middle. I now move to the next row. Again, I'm lining it up with the green base. The curve of the ball matches perfectly. Another inch. Did a quick test on my spacing there to make sure it would fit. Go to this row. On this one, I'm going to start with the 8 ball in the center. I don't have quite enough edge there to help me get placement, and I want the 8 ball right in the visual center there. And then I'm going to add these to either side, just touching the 8 ball. On these, I might have gotten some glue showing through on the back side, so clean that off. Okay, 10. And then the number 1, front and center. That aligns with this bottom fold here. Okay, so here we have our pop-up billiard balls. There we go. We're going to push those to the side and let them dry a little bit. Okay, folks, we're going to take it a little aside here and skip ahead. Here is my finished card. And in the tutorial, I forgot to put on the brown triangle before I attached the balls. Now, it is possible to thread the brown triangle on after you've put on the balls, which I did here, but it is not the easiest way. So your next step is to do the brown triangle. Start with the green card It'll fold in half this way, but not in the center, just on the two sides. So there's a dotted score line there and a dotted score line there. Crease each of those. Then open it up and pop the centerpiece the opposite way. There's a dotted score line in the center and one at each end. That will make the support for the pop-up. Okay, now that we've got that folded, take the brown triangle and you'll see that there's a dotted score line here and a dotted score line here. Score on both those. That is going to get glued on right here. These slits will line up around the edges of that slit, and it's centered from left to right. I'm going to start with the upper portion first. Get that fold right in there. You can use this front area to help line it up. Bring it back. Glue it into place, fold it. Make sure it still folds easily. Then you can turn around and do the other half. Like so. This is also a good time to add the sentiment up here and any sentiment that you might want to customize down here. That's certainly up to you. I did it later and that worked fine as well. It's probably a little easier to do it before you add the billiard balls, but your choice here. So for the rest of the tutorial, you will see that I have the balls without the triangle. It should be there, and it is easier to put it in first, like I just did. Next, we'll go on to adding the billiard balls. We can now glue this in. I'm going to start by putting this through this slot, turning it over, and applying glue to this tab. I'm not going to apply it right here in the center. I can at the bottom. There we go. Now I'm going to make sure that my fold is exactly on the bottom of this line here. I don't want it to be up a little bit. I don't want it to be in the middle. I want the fold to be right there on that line. And press in place. Okay, this surface here is going to get glued to the underside behind what is the 8-ball, right in here. I'm going to put a little glue, 3/8 of an inch up and 3/8 of an inch down from the fold. I'm going to bring that in and I'm going to meet it right in the fold behind the 8-ball. While it is there, I'm going to slide this tab into the slot on the front, and I'm going to try and fold my card carefully before any of this glue dries. That'll be important for setting the correct placement of that inner support. Open it up because there's still wet glue around and you don't want that getting stuck. I can now put the little tab through the front, flip it over, put glue on the bottom side of this, and again make sure that my dotted line lines up with the edge there in the center. I'm going to, again, adjust things and carefully fold my card to make sure that it is going to fold in place. There we go. There we go. Now, on the inside of the card, I have the sentiment, sure are racking them up. I did this because my husband is sure racking up the years. You certainly can change the sentiment if your person is not elderly. Center it, make sure it's level, and gently put it into place. So on the sentiment, you can use vinyl like I used. You can cut it out of paper. You can use a stamp. You can print on a separate piece of paper and glue it into place. There are all kinds of ways of adding the sentiment. This is the first time I think that I've chosen to try vinyl, and I like it quite a bit. There we go. Sure are racking them up. Now, I did put 71 on the card for my husband, number 71, and I wrote a message here. You can do that if you'd like. Let's transfer now to doing the front. The front is going to be a black background that should perfectly cover just about all of the green felt, and brown trim, wooden trim. Carefully line this up. You can always trim side to side. You cannot trim the back fold line. So that's the critical one there. Next comes the brown trim. Apply glue. Carefully line up your corners, trying not to drag it. I got a couple of glue spots in the center, but that doesn't really matter because that's going to get covered by the green felt. So let's take the green felt. This one here, we need to get rid of that. The green felt is going to be glued into the center here. Before I do that, I'm going to put the sentiment on. Now on this card, I'd added bumpers and I didn't like those. I put the sentiment at an angle and I put the sticks off to an angle here. I'm going to do the same on this one. Again, I used vinyl. I'm going to do it at an angle off to the side. You can use print and cut. You can use cut paper, glued in place. You can use vinyl. Lots of options here. I do like the brighter green much more than the dark green that I used on the original. There we go. Now there is a little white billiard ball, cue ball, which I will glue around the sticks. I'm going to wait until this is in place because I want the sticks to go off. Let's glue this in place. Center it. Press in place. Let's take our cue sticks. Glue on the back of them. This one is going to sort of underline the happy birthday, but not exactly straight. A little bit of angle here. This one is going to cross it. And our little cue ball. Right there. There we go. Here's our card. Looks terrific. Now, this card is designed to fit in a purchased booklet envelope, 6 by 9 inches. But if you don't have those and you want to make your own envelope, I have included a file in the download for a 6 by 9 inch envelope. This envelope does take 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, so you need to be prepared for that. So this is a textured paper, textured side out on both sides. I will fold on the dotted fold lines. First, I will put glue here and here, paying attention to these corners so that I don't put glue there, and glue up that bottom side. And then I will put glue on the tabs. Notice this does not come all the way to the top, and it is a little bit smaller. So keep your glue in. You don't want to glue your envelope shut. Textured side out. Glue that in place. And there we go. Isn't that a wonderful birthday card for someone you care about? Who are you going to send it to? I hope they have a happy birthday. Thanks for watching, and take care. I have designed a number of birthday or all occasion cards over the years. Visit 3dcuts.com/birthday-celebrations to view the variety and make something beautiful for the special people in your life. Happy crafting, everyone!